Hello everybody and welcome to this video where we're now going to take a look at subdividing the model here. So in our viewport we have our model and you can see that at the moment it's pretty low resolution. Now this is due to the amount of polygons we have within the model, and we can see the amount of polygons if we like by scrolling over and looking at our current tool, and you can see at the bottom we have a bunch of information and you can see that we have polys and it says equal 835. Now, if we want to increase the amount of resolution on this geometry, what we can do is we can extend the geometry rollout and we can click this button here that says divide. So by doing that, we have now divided the model by a factor of 4, and we can see this change by scrolling back over our tool, and you can see the amount of polygons has increased by a factor of 4. We can, if we also like to, press the Ctrl and D key, and this is a shortcut for subdividing. Now, going back to the geometry tool, we can see, in the geometry tab, we can see that we have the slider that has been generated, and we can move this back down to the lowest subdivision, to the highest subdivision. Again, we can press the Ctrl D to add a new subdivision, and if we like, we can also press the Shift D, and this will move down the different subdivisions. So this is useful for us for skipping through the different subdivisions there. Now, if we'd like, we can increase this all the way to the top and say this is the final model and we've completed this and we don't want to do anything else. We could, if we'd like, go ahead and choose the delete lower subdivisions, which is something that I don't really do. However, something I may do in production sometimes is I may want to go back down to the base mesh, and I may want to delete the higher levels, so I can do that and click this delete higher, and that will remove all the subdivisions that had been applied above it. So that's how we would go ahead and subdivide. So we can go ahead and add a few subdivisions in here. Okay, and once we have done that, what we can now do is we can start to sculpt on this. So if we just, for instance, just make a little small line here, if we move the subdivisions down, you can see that we can hardly see any information, but as we move up, we can see that that information is becoming more apparent to us. So let's, I'm going to undo that. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is things like this. So we can see here in the mouth that there's this little error. And this is most likely due to the exploitation of this model. And we can see what's going on by going back to max. So let's go back to max here. And let's go to the front and let's just look at her lip. Okay. And let's scroll all the way down, and it doesn't, so this is an issue right here. So this is something we have to look out for and something we have to make sure that there's none of. So whenever we are exporting our model, we want to make sure that there is no stray vertices, so we can delete that. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to weld this. I'm going to target weld. There we go. And we can go ahead and re-export this. And we want to make sure that when we export our mesh, we don't want to have any triangulated areas. Now, this may not, this may in some cases, like for instance, near the ear, may not be avoidable, but we want to try and keep the triangles or these wedge shapes and polygons to as little as possible. So if we go ahead, and I select this, and I go to File, Exports, and I'm going to go ahead and choose the same location, and I'm going to go ahead and choose OBJ. So this may just be a little off screen here. I'm going to select and overwrite this. It's going to ask me, do you want to overwrite? I'm going to choose yes. And if you're exporting from Max, you want to make sure that you are using quads. And you also want to make sure that you have the Zbrush preset selected. Choose export, choose done. Now if we go back into Zbrush over here, and we can go ahead and we can re-import this. So let's go ahead, choose import. And now you can see that if we subdivide this model, we no longer have those weird issues where the mouth is. And we just want to make sure that whenever we are exporting our models from an external package, that there is no stray vertices and there is no triangles, or if there is triangles, they are kept to a minimal. So for now, this is the end of using the subdivide within Zbrush. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to get started with sculpting on our model here. So I'll see you next time.